this webinar today, how to take the stress out of the holidays. And this is an important thing to talk about because the Christmas season is upon us and it gets so crazy, and I listen to people talk about how busy they are and they lose the joy and the purpose of what this season is all about. So I am grateful that you are taking this time to get some great information on how to make it so that this holiday season is like none other. Today we're going to talk about several things. We're going to talk about some practical ways to de-stress over the holidays and how you can organize yourself. We're going to talk about ways to talk to your spouse so that they can have a better sense of what you need from them. We're going to talk about how to handle difficult family. Also, your own expectations and what to do when you start feeling that sinking feeling. This can be such a crazy time. I've been a marriage and family therapist for many years, and this is one of the busiest times in my work because of how much stress the holiday creates. Doesn't that seem silly in one way? Here, this is supposed to be a time of celebrating because what Christmas is all about is the gift of Christ in our life, and it should bring us great peace. But instead, it creates such stress. Such an energy drain for us, and a lot of times that is because this has been so commercialized and we've lost the purpose and the focus of what this time is all about. So I want to help us refocus so that we're not robbed of our joy during this season. I love helping people create a life they're going to love. And the truth is about that is it's choices that we get to make every day. And so I want to just say up front, if you are telling me already, you know how that conversation goes on in your head? If you're saying to yourself, oh, Christy, you have no clue. There's no way you can avoid the stress. I've got this, I've got that. And you're going through your laundry list of all the ways that you're stressed. Stop. Breathe. Because it doesn't have to be that way. You really do get to make a choice. And what is it going to be? It doesn't have to be crazy and running wild and going a million different directions and you're exhausted. You might be cold, depending on where you live, but you don't have to be exhausted. I'm excited for you and the things that you're going to learn today. So let's just jump right in. Why do we feel a need, especially as women, to have everything perfect? Now, I want you to know, doing this video, it's brought up a lot of memories and a lot of working with different clients. And last year, I had 15 people coming to my house to stay for 10 days. Yeah, crazy, I know, right? And all of them family, and you know what? We had a great time. And it was so much fun. And yet, everything I'm going to teach you today is exactly what I had to apply to my own life in order for it to be a stress-free holiday so that I could keep my focus. Because there was a lot of work to having 15 people at your house, and we did not have a big house. We had a 3-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms, that's it, for 15 people. But it's amazing what you can do when you get creative and you remember what this is all about. So I want to start, why do we feel the need to be perfect? It truly is a myth in our life to feel like we have to be perfect. We create our own stress. Ladies, can we just admit that? That we put on the stress ourselves? And why? Because oftentimes we're trying to live up to someone else's expectations. We're trying to live up to some standard. We're trying to be a Martha Stewart. We're trying to be something we're not. And we set ourselves up to fail. Why do we do this to ourselves? It never gets us what we want. It never helps us in the long run. And yet we do it over and over again. And it sabotages us of relationships, of joy, of peace, of creating wonderful memories together. And so, what are you going to choose? Can we let good enough be okay this holiday season? Can we let that we put our best into it be enough? If you're arguing with me in your head right now, I would challenge you to ask yourself some really good questions. Why am I fighting this? Why is this difficult for me? What am I really wanting? Because I want to challenge you, you're fighting the wrong fight. Because we'll never be perfect. Never. So we're setting ourselves up to fail. And so I just want to encourage you to really step out of that place and find a new, more balanced one. And here are some ways that you can do that. There's lots and lots and lots of practical things that I want to give you today. And they might seem silly. And for some of you, they're going to be like, duh, I knew that. And for others of you, you're like, I never thought of that. And so take it all in and apply what's going to work for you. So a couple things I want to start right off with. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask our family to pitch in. It's okay to ask our children to help. And here's the key when you do it, especially with our own kids and our own immediate family, is say, I need your help. Because I don't want to get to the place I'm so stressed out. I don't want to get to the place I'm upset and I'm angry or I'm yelling. I need you to do X, Y, and Z. And be really specific on what you need. When I had all those people over at my house last Christmas, I told my kids, look, I need your help just to take out the garbage without me having to ask. And I really need during this time, if I ask you to do something, I want you just to do it. I don't want you to roll your eyes and sigh and do any of that bit. I just want you to say, okay, Mom. Because we had this conversation, because doing that does equal love to me. And I know you love me. And so here's how you can love me during this time, is to help me. Help me pick up the house. Help me do the dishes. Help me ask, Mom, what do you need me to do right now? And our spouse or significant other to be able to do the same. It's okay also to ask people to bring things, to delegate things out. It really is okay to do that. So many, they feel like if I'm hosting, I should be able to do all of this. No, actually, that's not true. And you're setting yourself up. It's okay to say, here's what I need. Could you bring the salad? Could you take care of this for me? Could you take care of this? When my whole family came, I said, Dad, could you be in charge of doing the turkey? We had a couple other people. I was like, could you just take care of this piece of it for me so that I don't have to worry about it? Here's when I need it done by. Dinner's going to be at 4. You take care of it from there. When people asked, what can I do? I always had an answer. Could you do the dishes? Could you wipe off the table? Could you take out this garbage? Could you start that next load of laundry? I mean, can you imagine how much laundry of a house of 15 people? I can't even imagine how that family of 19 and counting, how do they do it? And this is one of the challenges of the holidays, is we're not used to having this many people, so it really disrupts our routine. And so being able to really have our plan. And again, this is going to be really practical, but it's so important, is I want you to take out a tablet of paper. One tablet I want you to devote to the holiday season. And on this are going to be all your different lists. Your menu list all planned out. Your grocery list all planned out. Because if you haven't planned out in advance, then you can be buying things as they're on sale instead of waiting until that last minute. You can be making dishes ahead of time, freezing them and putting in. And I trust me, please trust me on this. It doesn't ruin the taste on it. It doesn't ruin anything, and it saves you, because now on the day of, you can be putting something right into the oven instead of still having to make it and create that another mess. You can take it out, put it right into the oven, and it works fabulously. I gotta say, so many of these things that I'm teaching you today are things that my mother-in-law has taught me. And after 20 years of marriage, you learn a few other things along the way. And I love hosting. And so getting that smooth system down, so that one pad of paper, literally, I want you to say 5 days before, 4 days before, 3 days before, because there's going to be things that you can't do until the last minute. But if you have it planned out, so you know how to plan your day, you know where to ask for help, you know what your day is going to need to look like, it makes it so much easier. It makes me so sad when I see these ladies and they're pulling out all these pieces of paper out of their purse or out of the drawer, and they've got a list for their lists for their lists. And it doesn't make sense. You're creating your own chaos. And again, if I could just challenge you really quick, is to ask yourself, am I creating my own chaos, and why? So often it's because it's habit. It's what's been modeled. It's what our family does. But it doesn't have to be that way for you anymore. And can I just say as well, I have kids. I want to model such a different way for them than what was necessarily handed down, because it doesn't have to continue that way. Please don't get me wrong. I still have my stressed out moments. I still have my times where it doesn't work quite like I wanted. But here's the key. You recover. You pull yourself back in again, and you ground yourself again, and you find that way to be able to do it. So you don't have to live in that craziness and that being upset. So another thing, do as much stuff in advance. Set your table the day before so it's not something that you're trying to take care of that day. I literally, when we had all of our family over, I had a practice run, and I know that's going to sound crazy to you, but we needed 2 8-foot tables that we had to set up, and I wanted a pretty centerpiece, but I'm really not that creative. And so I had a couple ideas what I wanted. I brought my daughter in on it, I brought my husband in on it, and I said, okay, so what can we do to make this look right? What can we do to make this fun? And so we tried a bunch of different ways. And you know what? I'm so glad we did that, because then we had time to find those little pieces. Maybe we ended up needing something for the napkins. They just weren't working right. And I didn't have enough for 15 place settings. And so we had to get creative on how I was going to use the dishes that I already had. And so being able to have that time to be able to really look for what was going to work meant everything. So the day of, it was a matter of pulling it out of the cabinet and setting it up, then still trying to figure it out the day of. I know that sounds silly and it sounds small, but it's amazing how many of us wait till the last minute and then we're so frustrated. We panic ourselves, and we didn't need to do that. We didn't need to do that at all. And part of this is being really creative. When I had all those people, I didn't have a big enough dining room table. I didn't have 2 places to eat, and our kitchen table wasn't big enough for all of us, and I really did not want all of the kids eating on my carpet. I know, silly me, but I didn't want them eating on the carpet. And so you know what we did? We converted our garage. I know that sounds so redneck, but it worked great. We had lights up, we had brought out a big flat screen TV, we had a fireplace going, we had music playing, and you know what? You would have never known the difference that we weren't eating at a nice dining room table, because we got creative, because we planned ahead, and we were able to borrow and get pieces that we needed to be able to make it look really nice. So here's the other thing I want to offer you. If there's something that you're not good at, have somebody else help you. I confess, I'm not a great decorator at all. I'm not, especially for the holidays. And it just doesn't seem very practical to me, and it's not one of those places I really enjoy spending money on. And so I have a friend who is a fabulous decorator. She's gorgeous. She's entered her home into those holiday decorating, houses. I mean, she truly is a model home that would be on a tour of Christmas decorations. And I invited her and said, could you help me? Could you come over for one afternoon, take the things? I had all my stuff out and ready for her to look at. My daughter and I were there, and we were ready to help and just put things together as she was telling us and showing us. I can't begin to tell you the stress release that created for me to have her do something that I wasn't good at. And I asked, if you're hesitant to do that, ask if they want to be paid for it. Okay, if you've got the money to do that. Or invite somebody else that's a friend, and maybe there's some kind of trade that you can do with them, that babysit their kids, or do something else in swap for having them help. But if you're struggling asking them to do something like that because you're afraid that it's going to be an inconvenience to them, again, I want to challenge you to think, why? Why is that so bad to ask for help? When I've worked with clients, this is one of the things that I love helping them figure out, is what keeps them stuck. Why do they keep going down these same patterns that don't work for them and only lead them to a place of frustration? A lot of times people don't understand why, and they need someone to help them slow down, ask them good questions, and be able to help them move forward. And I want to be able to do that for you, because it's important, and it really does matter. During this time of holidays when it can be so expensive, can I encourage you as well, set a budget. The holiday season does not have to be based on how much fun you have is based on how much money you spend. If you do not have the money, don't spend it. Don't put it on credit cards. And can I say, for many of you that I work with so many teenagers, that overindulging our kids only teaches them an attitude of entitlement. It does not teach them the true meaning of what Christmas is all about. It actually deters them and gets them focused on me, me, me. I'll be really honest with you, this year we are taking it to a whole new step for our own family. And this year we're not buying any presents. And you know what? I've been amazed in that piece alone on how stress-free this Christmas has been for us. Not only financially, but just in the chaos of trying to find that right gift and trying to go do, trying to get it all, and how am I going to afford all of it? I have truly enjoyed, and instead, we as a family have done, we put a food box together for a family who really needs some food. We've talked about a family that might need some resources, and so putting together, if each of us got one little gift to help this family so that they would have something on Christmas. Can I tell you already the difference that it has made? The joy that has brought, because that's what this was all about, is giving. Giving from the heart. And it wasn't about finding that perfect gift. It wasn't about trying to get it all done. It was about being. It was about being present. And the truth is, that's the greatest gift you can give your family, is truly being present with them. Looking them in the eye, enjoying them. Instead of thinking about the next thing that needs to happen, and the next place we need to be, and that next thing that needs to be cooked, and that next thing that needs to be cleaned, and that next gift that needs to get bought. The more we can be present, all the difference is going to happen for you in this holiday. When it comes to you and your spouse, or your significant other, I want to encourage you. Like I said, I've been married for 20 years, and you know what? After 20 years, he still cannot read my mind. With all of the clients that I've worked with, nobody has been able to figure out that. Now, you sure can tell when your spouse is upset, right? You can sure tell when there's something that they don't like, right? And your significant other, you bet you can. They don't have to say a word. It's the way they walk, the tone in their voice, the way they look in their body language. So here's a way that I want to encourage you. And I promise you, this works fantastic. And my husband and I do it all the time. Whenever we go to family events, whenever we go to anything, whether it be a fun party, whether it be a company's coming over, we're going to visit somebody, we always ask each other this question: what do you need from me? And here's the key in that question. Be really, really specific. I need you to support me when Grandma starts going in on how I need to lose weight, or how we need to have more kids, or how we should move closer, or how we don't visit enough. I need you to stand up and stop Grandma and say something. I need you, let's commit to, we're leaving by 9 because we have a busy day tomorrow. Whatever it might be for you, I need you to what? Fill in the blank. So often we go into this hoping that the other person is going to just know what we need, and I've never found that to ever work. I know after how many ever years you've been married, he should know. but often he doesn't. I've said to my husband, I just want you to know, if you get up from the dinner table and go sit on the couch and go turn SportsCenter on with all of the other guys, I'm going to be upset. I've worked to make dinner, to set everything, to have it all nice. I need your help. This is our home, our family. Please don't just leave me to take care of everything. So it is okay to say those kind of things to our spouse, but you gotta be specific so that they know exactly. Because one of the things I found, especially for husbands, they want to make us happy. They don't want us to be upset and angry, but oftentimes when we're upset, they truly don't know why we're upset. They don't get it. And so being able to tell them, and that doesn't have to ruin anything. Them not reading our mind is okay. I know, sounds crazy. Yes, it doesn't match the movies and it doesn't match all of the fun. Well, it should be so much easier than that. But the truth is, it works. And it works really well. And I'd invite you to try it. Try it this Christmas season. I know one of the things that makes the holidays the most stressful is extended family. A lot of people coming together all at once and different personalities, and the truth is there might be some family members that really trigger you. And again, we can't change them. All we can do is change ourselves and address. So plan. What's your plan to deal with that difficult personality? This is probably one of the biggest things that I work with people on, is how do you take care of you when somebody else can drive you crazy? Because really you're giving your power away to them. And so how do you get your power back? One of the ways that I have found really helpful with families is to send out, especially if it's going to be multiple days that they're all together, is to send out a tentative schedule to everybody and just say, hey, I just want you to know this was the plan. Because the number one thing that gets families into chaos or into frustration is everybody has different expectations. And so when you can send out an email and clarify that, I realize you all may have different expectations. Let me know the things that are going to be really important to you. It's going to make the holiday meaningful for you to have happen. That can be down to special food items. It could be to special things that you like to go do together. A tradition for my family was always watching White Christmas together. There's special, my grandma always made the best noodles. You know, that was something that's a family tradition and that people really wanted. So being able to identify what are the expectations of people, because the truth is you're not going to meet everybody's expectations. And with those difficult people, it's okay to have them in spurts. To be able to manage your time and manage your way so that you aren't always around them. Maybe that family, it's okay for them to go get a hotel. Maybe you limit the amount of time that you spend all together. And so you really kind of control how that's going to work. If that's not something you can do because they're not coming to your house and maybe you're going to their house, then you say up front, here's what my schedule is going to be. We will be able to be with the family during this time and this time and this time, so that they have clear expectations when you are going to be with them. One of the things I find so often is, well, I thought you were going to be with us, and well, I thought you were going to be this, and if your plans change, then communicate that. But really being able to say ahead of time, because if you wait, that's when you get yourself in trouble. Over communication is a good thing when it comes to your schedule and what you're wanting your time to look like. You don't have to justify why you want to do what you want to do. It's your time, it's your family time, it's your vacation, it's what you need and want, especially as an immediate family. You really do have more power than you think. And so I would challenge you again, if there's someone in your family that really triggers you, understand what is it that they trigger in you, and how do I get my power back? Because only you get to do that in your life. Only you. Nobody else can do that for you. This is one of those times where having your spouse or significant other to support you can be really key in having that happen. To be able to be your support system. And so don't forget to ask them for that help and that support. And I also want to ask you today, what's your expectations? We often have this picture of what it's going to be like and feel like and smell like. So what are your expectations? What are you wanting the holidays to look like? How will you know it's successful? We put all this pressure on ourselves, and yet, how do we know? Is there something we're looking for? Is there something we're waiting for? And get really clear with yourself. What is it that I want? How will I know this has been successful? How will I know my expectations have been met? Because when you really look at it, well, I want everybody to have a good time. Okay. Do you really have that kind of power to make everybody have a good time? What does everybody having a good time look like when everybody else's definition of that is not going to match? And so going into it, here's my expectation for the holiday. I want to be the best me in the process. I want to enjoy everybody who's around me. I want to remember what this time is all about. I want to create special memories, and I want to be present. I want to be present so that I don't miss anything. I'm not distracted by the things that don't matter, and I can be focused on the things that really do matter. What this season is all about. My family. What Christ offered us. And the gifts that are all around us. Our health, love, family, our home, all of the things that often we forget during this time. And I just want to help you go back. And if this has been something that you are dreading during the holidays, if this is something that you are really struggling with, I would love an opportunity to talk with you. Because oftentimes what can happen, and for me, that bipolar diagnosis has been so overused because we all have those ups and downs, right? We all have the good days and bad days, good moments, bad moments, and you can have an email or phone call that brings you up, and then you can have another one that just totally brings you down, right? And you can kind of feel it. There's this sinking feeling that happens. And so a couple key things that I would love to give you. When it comes to that sinking feeling in you, where do you feel it? It's usually always in our body somewhere. Sometimes it's our stomach starts to hurt, our lower back, our shoulders, or we get a headache. Where do you feel it? Ask yourself when you're starting to feel that tension, where is it? What is it about? And there's a couple key things that you can do. And I know this is going to sound funny, but we are energy, right? That's our energy rising and falling. That's why some days we can feel like you can get a million things done, and there's other days that you feel like you're dragging. You really can control that energy, right? Sometimes it's a matter of, I need to eat. Sometimes it's a matter of, I need to get my rest. Sometimes it's a matter of, I need to get focused again. Something has derailed me. I've let it take me off track, and now it's time for me to get focused again. And what I find for some people is that that habit of getting derailed can happen so quickly and happen so often, because the truth is there are people that really like living in that chaos because it feels comfortable even though they hate it. And what I have found, and the part I really want you to hear from me today, is you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. There is support out there for you. You don't have to go through those highs and lows alone, because sometimes it is that you need that helping hand. You need that support. You just need to know that somebody is there with you, and they're going to help you get through this. And there's nothing wrong with that. I had to have it. So many people have had to have it. And so often people go, well, that means that I'm going to have it forever. No, it doesn't. Maybe it's just right now that you need that extra support. Okay, let it be okay. I want to offer you today, if you find yourself going, oh my goodness, that's me. I struggle so bad, or I'm really worried about my family coming, I'm so anxious about this, or I'm dreading that, then please take me up on my offer. Please take me up on my offer to have a complimentary session. Let's talk about it. Let's get laser focused and put some strategies in place so that this holiday season can be totally different, because it really can. And if right now you're saying, but you have no clue what my family is like, you have no clue what my life is like, you're right, I don't. But please don't let that be your excuse. You don't get to change who your family is. We often don't get to change some of the circumstance around us. But we can find ways to create that life we're going to love right now. And that can be the greatest present you give yourself. The greatest way you can love yourself. Because this isn't about what we get. It's about taking care of ourselves, loving ourselves, and being present to who we are and what we really want. I would love it if I could be that person in your life to help you, support you through this. If you have any questions, please email me. Please personal message me on Facebook or whichever way is easiest for you to contact me. Go to my website at christyfowler.com. Send me a message so that you can ask what questions might be on your mind. I hope you found this has been really practical and easy because you deserve it. I wish you nothing but the best life has to offer because you truly deserve it.